Once you've created your quiz, added your questions, given it a title, set the restriction dates, etc., another consideration, especially with students who are not in a monitored lab setting, is to enable something called LockDown Browser. LockDown Browser would prevent the student from accessing other information online, other applications on their device, while they're writing your quiz. And this would be true even if they're writing at home. Once your quiz exists, you can, from the main quiz screen, go to the LockDown Browser tab. If it's your first time in this tool, you'll have a message to confirm, and you may also still have these tutorials, which would include some video resources and some written resources from Respondus, which is the company who provides this LockDown Browser integration. So you can learn about this here. And when you're ready, continue to the LockDown Browser settings area. For any of the quizzes that exist in this particular course, you have the ability to click on the arrow next to the title, go to Settings, and you can require LockDown Browser. The other optional setting that I always recommend is preventing students from being able to exit LockDown Browser before they're completed their attempt. That's located here under Advanced Settings. And you can check the box that says lock students into the browser until the exam is completed. The reason we recommend this is because otherwise a student would be able to close out of their current attempt, open up other browsers, applications, go on the internet, potentially look for answers, and then return to the quiz, resume their attempt. Once they're back in the test, they can't look up answers anymore, but the damage is already done. So if you prevent students from being able to exit at all until they're completed everything and submit, that is a helpful added bit of security, especially for students who are writing at home. So I would turn on the LockDown Browser requirement, enable that additional setting, and then click Save and Close. We can see now on our LockDown Browser tab that this particular quiz is required. And if I go back to the Manage Quizzes tab, I'll also see that it's modified the title of this quiz to indicate that the LockDown Browser is required. So it communicates that essentially for students as well. So LockDown Browser is a piece of software that is going to be required on any device that a student uses to complete the quiz or exam. It is free for them to download though. You can direct students to the student support page, which looks like this. Students are able to search for LockDown Browser. And they can find resources on downloading, as well as a video on how to use it. So this is something that you would want to communicate with students in advance of writing the test so that the expectations are clear. Something that we recommend as well is that if you have the ability to set up a practice test, even if it's just one question and the question doesn't matter, enable LockDown Browser for that practice test and don't set date restrictions on that. So students have the ability to use their own device, attempt to access that practice question. Once they're able to get past the prompt for opening LockDown Browser, once they've successfully installed it and it's opened and they can see that question, they'll know that there won't be any problems or issues when a real test or a real exam that uses LockDown Browser opens, and so they can get right down to answering questions there.